Today, we take a look at fishing and all of the wonderful things behind it. Should you fish in Lineage 2 today? Welcome, friends, to a new episode of Lineage 2, hanging out today on the Chronos server. Hope you guys are having a great day. I myself am having a glorious day. Why? Because I am done doing all of the wonderful fishing things. Ah, man, what a process this took. Let me give you a full overview first before I get into the nitty-gritty of this stuff. I took 5 characters, a human, a camel, an orc, an etheria, or earthia, I don't know how to pronounce their stupid name, and a dwarf, all with different luck values, all with different fishing rods. 2 have fancy fishing rods, 2 have sturdy fishing rods, and 1, Clobberstomp here, which you're looking at, oh, that's a good screenshot, has a master rod, stage 3. And what I did is I put a fair number of baits and shots on each one of them, and I let them run for 24 hours, every single one, and then I took all the values. And we'll get into what we spent on everything, I guess, right now. So the base costs, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of all this. So the base cost for all of this stuff was, it's 25,000 per bait for Santiago's bait. This is not the total cost. This is the base cost for each one. And then we have a fishing shot cost of 625. If you convert to Alchium crystals, it costs 500,000 Adina. And then if you convert to Alchium, it costs 5 million Adina. Next, so we have a full character setup. The human has 44 luck and a sturdy fishing rod. The orc has 36 luck and a sturdy fishing rod. The camel has 52 luck and a master fishing rod, stage 3. The dwarf has 48 luck and a fancy fishing rod, which is the really good one. And the earthia has 44 luck and a fancy fishing rod as well. So there's a little bit of a difference between the luck values for each type of character based on what they have for gear and things like that. I thought this would be a really good way to have a good set of values over everything. Now, the cost and yield of everything. So this is the bait and the shots cost, and then what we caught. The human, which has a sturdy fishing rod, was able to use 760 bait and 760 shots. The total cost of that was 19,475,000 Adina. And we caught 495 ugly fish, 16 powerful fish, 75 nimble fish, and 5 energy boxes. It's pretty good. The orc, who had the least amount of luck, caught 758 bait and 758 shots. Has 19,423,750 cost of Adina, and we were able to pull in 517 ugly fish, 10 powerful fish, 61 nimble fish, which I spelt wrong, and then 4 energy boxes. We have the camel, the etheria, and the dwarf coming next. So baits for the camel, baits and shots were 892, a total cost of 22.875 million Adina, and we caught 599 ugly fish, 14 powerful fish, 88 nimble fish, and 6 energy boxes. So out of the 3 that were not using a fancy fishing rod, the camel did the best with the little bit better fishing rod and the ability to have the most amount of luck, which was 52. The orc being the least amount, and it performed not as good. And now all of these characters fished in the exact same spots. They were all right next to each other in Aiden. I did not go out and check across all of the different places for fishing to see if there's a different values on fishing areas. We might do that later, but I'm not sure that it even matters. Maybe some of you guys might know, and if you do, please leave a comment. Also, the cost and the yield of the Eartheria, we used 3,593 bait and shots for a total cost of a little over 90 million Adina. We caught 2,376 ugly fish, 52 powerful fish, 350 nimble fish, and 28 energy boxes. That's amazing. And then the dwarf, which performed the best, which had the second amount of luck and a fancy fishing rod, used 3607 bait and shots with a total cost of 92.4 million Adina. We caught 2340 ugly fish, 66 powerful fish. That's a huge difference between the dwarf and the Etheria, right? Like, both having fancy rods, they only have a little bit difference in luck, but there's a factor, obviously. 366 nimble fish, which is nibble fish. I totally spelt that one wrong too. And then 25 energy boxes. Pretty interesting values over a 24-hour period. Okay, so we have the total costs of everything, which is the total costs for all of the baits and shots was 226 million Adina. And I put a decimal point there when it was supposed to be a comma. So 220, almost 227 million Adina in total. And now with the costs of the conversion to Alchium crystals or Alchium, that costs an additional 11 million to give it the total there. We did pull a yield of 120 Alchium powder, which turned into 12 Alchium crystals, which yield 1 Alchium and 9, after conversion, had 9 crystals left. Okay, we now have a total yield of 6,387 ugly fish, 944 nimble fish, 160 powerful fish, 29 stardust, and 39 zodiac cube fragments, which came from the energy boxes in total. And then in the previous slide I mentioned that we were able to pull in 1 Alchium after the conversions, and then also 9 crystals were remaining. All right, total sales profit. And I did this 2 different ways. One, I did the profit from sales outright without doing any conversions. And as you can see there, after the cost of all the ugly fish, nimble fish, powerful fish, the fragments, and then the stardust, the total profit, and this is, the profit is the value of the 227 million minus what we would have pulled total, ends up becoming 845.5 million in sales. So we made a little over $1 billion total. And then after the, the cost of what it cost for the shots and things like that, we are now at 845. Now, if you do the conversion, you can see that you get a far better rate with the Alchium crystals and the Alchium, or much better rates if you just convert to Alchium in total. And we pull in a 1.1 billion Adina profit. So it ends up being like 1.3 something after the 229 million or whatever that we spent. So yeah, there's a huge disparity. Now this is all based on the current market values. I'm sure these will fluctuate. It will also change from day to day based on what is going to be on the market and where the demand is. But at today's rate, during the recording of this video, these are the values that we were able to pull. Obviously, market changes, so these values will probably be still fairly accurate as far as the rates and what you're going to pull based on each fishing rod and things like that. But the costs may differ. But as you can see, there's a huge profit from, just doing one, even one alone. So, I mean, I totaled all my costs so you could kind of see how it gets compounded over a number of accounts. But in the general scheme of things, the full, you know, if you have just a sturdy fishing rod on one character fishing 24/7, you're making about 100% profit. So if you put in 100,000 Adina, you're going to pull out 200,000. So you're going to get your 100,000 back to buy more shots, and then you're going to have 100,000 left in profit. Now, if you get into fancy fishing rod or better fishing rods with more gear and more luck, you're going to have a much better time too. So I can see now that profit is obviously dictated by how many characters you have running, along with how many fancy fishing rods you have and how long you keep them all running. The more you have, the more you'll make. Pretty simple. It's a huge difference that you can see from, you know, a sturdy rod, how you pulled how many in a sturdy rod to how many you pull with a fancy fishing rod. It's just massive. So I hope this has been informative for you to know whether or not you should or shouldn't be fishing. I've done all the math. It took me a long time to get this all going. It took me a couple of days to figure out all this and then how to format it the right way so we could see it all in a clear format. It's a lot of information to bring in, which kind of it's really difficult to present to you guys. So I figured these slides would be the best way to do it. But I hope this has been informative. I hope this helps you decide whether or not you want to fish or you should fish. I can tell you right now, you should be fishing if you're not. Obviously, you have to weigh that over what else you're doing. But if you've got idle characters that aren't doing anything and you have them logged off and you have the means to do it, log them in and get them fishing. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Even if it's over a long period of time, just one character, you're going to see a profit eventually. And if you can get yourself one Alchium a day, you can see right there, I'm making I'm making roughly 2 Alchium a day, which turns out to be over 1 billion Adina just from my characters fishing. And I'm pulling that really without Clobberstomp. So if I use Clobberstomp to go level and Nalia to go level with him, my other 4 accounts, I'm still pulling roughly that. Maybe a little less, but it's profitable to fish. You should be fishing if you can. All right, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please stomp the like button. Also, let me know if you've seen any types of different things, or if you know that if you level or you fish in different areas, if you find it to be more profitable versus one way or another. I'd love to know if you guys have seen that. I haven't done that testing yet, but what are your favorite fishing spots? And have you seen any spots that yield better rates than others? Because that I would love to know. And if I can, I'll move all my fishermen to there. All right, friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, stomp the like button. It really helps me out. And as always, take care and